Title: CSDB through the years, 1874 to 1920. The CSDB logo, Excellence in Service, Colorado School for the Deaf and the Blind, established 1874.
It's a slate and stylus.
What is this?
It's from a long time ago.
In the early 1870s, Mr. Kennedy and his family left their home in Kansas and traveled west. They arrived in Colorado and began to look around. After some searching, he decided that this was the place where he would set up his school. He went to the Colorado Territorial Legislature, and after some negotiation, they agreed to grant $5,000 to build his school, but only if Mr. Kennedy could find someone to donate the land. Mr. Kennedy returned home, and while searching for a donor, met General Palmer, who was happy to donate the land.
General Palmer's company donated 13 acres of land at the top of Kiowa Street Hill, where the campus stands today. That's how the Colorado Institute for the Education of Mutes was organized on April 8, 1874, before Colorado was a state.
That day, 7 deaf students began instruction with 3 teachers. Over the course of the year, 6 more students would join.
The first building was originally 3 stories of reddish sandstone with 12 rooms, coal stoves, and kerosene lamps. Soon they needed more room and wings were added.
In 1883, students with vision loss were admitted, and the name was changed to the Colorado Institute for Educating Deaf, Mutes, and the Blind, and school began on the 12th of September, 1883. Superintendent Kennedy said he wanted blind children to have the same opportunities at the school as the students who were deaf. That year, 3 students who were blind enrolled. He thought the school's mission was fulfilled when children who were deaf or blind received an education equal to students in public schools throughout the state.
That year, Superintendent Kennedy became ill and retired. The school went through many superintendents, George Failer, Anna Whitcomb, and D.C. Dudley, before settling on John Ray.
Back in the 1880s, there was a deaf man, and his name was Paul Hubbard.
He came to CSDB in 1883 as an 8th grader. And at that time, there were no sports. But Paul was involved in other types of activities.
After graduating from CSDB, Paul went on to Gallaudet University. He played football there. Not only did he play football, but he played quarterback. During a football game, Paul looked around and noticed everyone was signing. And it occurred to him that everybody on the other team could understand his method of communication. So he called all of his teammates in close so that the other team was unable to see what he was signing. And in that instance, he invented the football huddle.
And this huddle started becoming more and more popular, and other teams started copying Paul's idea for this huddle. It became so popular that it was even adopted by teams in the National Football League. And Paul Hubbard is recognized as the inventor of the huddle. Kennedy's grandson, a man named Lon Chaney, was a famous actor. He was known as the Man of 1,000 Faces.
In 1893, the name changed again to the Colorado School for the Deaf and the Blind. The school transitioned superintendents in the next dozen years to D.C. Dudley again, and then on to Dr. William Argo. Over an 11-year period, 4 buildings were added. 1889, the school building, 1892, Girls Hall, a residential building, 1893, the Industrial Building, and 1900, the Sloyd Building.
Nikola Tesla, one of the pioneers in electrical engineering, came to Colorado Springs and set up his lab very close to CSDB. He conducted several different experiments that were extremely interesting. Some of the different experiments that he conducted include a cosmic radio array. As Tesla's experiments with gargantuan lightning currents grew, he got to the point where he could have man-made lightning sent into the sky that could be seen or heard for miles around. CSDB used to have a dairy farm in which the students could go to work. During that time, shoes were typically made with nails that lined the soles of the shoe. The electrical currents would cause the students and the staff members to feel the sparks and crackles under their feet every time they took a step. Curiosity seekers would gather from all around and come to the lab where they could feel the electricity crackle underfoot. People also noted that the horses would rear back as they felt the electrical shocks going through their shoes. During the course of the repeated experiments at Tesla Labs, there came a time when 6 miles away an energy generator was short-circuited, causing a citywide outage. Tesla was under the impression that he was communicating with outer space. The students were enthralled and thrilled to see the different experiments that could possibly be communicating with Mars or other different planets, and all of this happening so close to CSDB.
Mr. George Veditz was widely known in the deaf community throughout the country. He began teaching at CSDB in 1888 and continued until he retired 17 years later. During his time at CSDB, he founded the Gallaudet Alumni Association, was the 7th president of the National Association of the Deaf from 1904 to 1910, and founded the Colorado Association of the Deaf in 1904. He had strong opinions about preserving sign language and solving injustices in job discrimination. He's well known for filming himself in Preservation of the Sign Language.
George Veditz's wife, Bessie, took Ralph Wooten and Lottie Sullivan, both deafblind, to the St. Louis World's Fair in 1904. At that time, people were fascinated to see how an educator could teach someone who was deafblind and how the students learn and communicate. CSDB received a gold medal award for this living exhibit. The living exhibits consisted of entire classes from different state institutions set up to look like real classrooms. Each class remained at the fair some weeks and allowed crowds of onlookers to see their daily lessons in a temporary schoolroom. Lottie Sullivan, a deaf-blind girl from the Colorado Institution, was awarded a special gold medal for her aptitude and progress.
CSDB continued to add new structures. The administration building, built in 1906, is the oldest remaining structure on the school campus. In 1907, the garage was added, and in 1910, the Carriage House. Jones Hall, built in 1911, housed boys who were blind, and Palmer Hall, built in 1917, housed boys who were deaf.
World War I began in 1914 and ended in 1918. On November 11th, in the middle of the night, fireworks and bombs began bursting in the air, and the staff and students watching below were overjoyed because they knew it meant the war was over. A parade was planned downtown. Dr. Argo, who was concerned about an epidemic of influenza, decided that they would have a parade on campus instead. Hundreds of soldiers and automobiles passed by, while the students watched excitedly. Afterwards, the CSDB students had their own parade. It was a day they would never forget.
Camera panning away from the present-day CSDB Administration Building. Title: CSDB Through the Years, 1874 to 1920. The CSDB logo, Excellence in Service, Colorado School for the Deaf and the Blind, established 1874. Historical storytellers: Donald Alsbach, class of 1979, Quincy Maddock, class of 2019, Walter von Felt, class of 1968, Quentin Weber, class of 2016, Jim Olson, narrator. Video production: Austin Beleish, class of 2006, Deb Branch, Sean Levier, Diane Covington, Derek Fisher, drone pilot. ASL consultation: Dana Baldaviez, Relena McDevitt. Captioning: Lori Wilson. Audio description: Jamie Cusimano. Sign language interpretation: Joseph Bonjour, Corey McCormick. CSDB Historical Preservation Alumni and Volunteers: Catherine Alsbach, class of 1977, Donald Alsbach, class of 1979, Ralph Ariano, class of 1978, Kevin Brown, Diane Covington, Tim Elstad, class of 1978, Kathy Gonzalez, Debbie Habercorn, Sue Pfaffenhauser, Jerry Schofield, class of 1983, John Bean, Walter von Felt, class of 1968, Kim Weglin. Director of Outreach: Laura Douglas. Superintendent: Carol A. Hilty.